Welcome back to another War of the Visions video. Today we're going to be talking about the 4 new Vision cards that are coming on the upcoming banner this Wednesday. We've got the Solidus UR card and the Mindflayer MR card with the accompanying Esper, and then the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Collab is here early. So this just happened in Japan, and we're going to get 2 Vision cards to pull for. One of them, the MR card, we will get for free as well. So for this video, we're going to go over each of these cards and make some comparisons, and we will answer the question, should you pull for them? So we'll start off with the Solidus UR card, which is just beautiful. I mean, the shits out artwork there looks a little funky. He looks kind of silly, and his sword looks really tiny, but otherwise it just looks amazing. And this is a very, very interesting card because you can see a bunch of like a tank, very powerful like swordsman, dragoon, and gunner. And of course, this is a magic card with a bunch of magic stats, with magic attack up for the bestowed effect, and then slash resistance for the party effect. Slash resistance makes sense. You've got Engelbert on the card. The rest of it, that doesn't make any sense at all, although maybe the text is going to explain it, or maybe it's talking about how incredibly powerful Solidus is, that they keep the enemies from getting to the mages, or something along those lines. So this is a very interesting card because slash attacks are the most common attacks in the game, so slash resist is obviously super important. It is interesting to see it with magic stats, so why would you pull for this? Well, I think that you have to really compare it to the Iron Giant card. So what I'm doing here is I've got Solidus. It's up on the top, and it's at 2-star level 70. And if you buy all the shards in the featured shop, you'll be able to 2-star it. And this is what you're going to get. You're going to get 138 magic. You're going to get 216 HP, and then there's 17 attack. But you'll also get increased magic attack 5, which is, it's good. It's fine. And then slash resist 12%. Well, you've probably had your Iron Giants since the beginning of the game, and at this point it's maxed. And if you have maxed your Iron Giant, well, you're gonna have 15 slash resist, so more than you'll get from Solidus, and you're gonna have 20 slash attack on it, and this will also be geared for more of a tank or an attacker with 80 attack and 384 HP. So really, this is where the game is so subjective. It's gonna really depend on you. So are you a whale? Then Solidus is great. Are you very new and maybe you don't have Iron Giant very leveled? Well, Solidus could be a really good pull for you. If you're not intending on leveling Solidus, then you probably don't want to pull for it just to do the 2-star. I don't think that's worth it if you already have Iron Giant already maxed or highly leveled, even 3-star. So something to consider, although they do kind of fill different roles in terms of their stats and in terms of the unit buff. But slash attack 20 is obviously a really big deal compared to magic attack 5. So with that said, it is easier for everybody to work on these UR cards now that we can farm Whimsy. So if you have a bunch of pots and you want to really go for it and make this your card, then by all means you can do some Whimsy farming, get those guaranteed Solidus shards, and try to get this to a 3-star or higher. So next up we have the Mindflayer, which is an MR Vision card, and it's gonna have some pretty balanced stats. Those are pretty nice at max, actually. You get a lot of everything. This is a sweet Ramza stat line right here. And then you get the magic attack on the unit effect, which is not so sweet for Ramza, but it's actually really good. It's plus 15 magic attack, so that's definitely not something that you to shake a stick at, whoever shakes sticks at things. And then we have the increase the damage cap, which is interesting because we actually have this on 2 other cards. We have the perks of having charm, something I know much about, and then we have the 2-headed dragon card. And the perks of having charm has the personal effect of increasing damage, so that's not really that relevant unless you're in a very coordinated raid group, but it does have Light Killer, which is awesome. And then there's the 2-headed dragon, which is going to get you more damage. So that's 25 800 damage extra over the cap, and this is just going to be 2000, so it's actually not that far off. But the two-headed dragon is also going to give that dark attack, and then this card is giving magic attack, so they're actually fairly comparable. If you don't have the two-headed dragon, then Mindflayer is going to be really nice. It's going to make sure that everybody can go into a raid and be able to pitch in by using the cap increasing card, which is very, very helpful for just, Bop and Ifrit's coming up this week. So this card is fine. I think if you have, you don't pull it for the raid utility, you pull it for the Esper, which we're going to talk about now. So for this Esper, you're going to get a magic statted Esper, and you're going to have to deal with the negative lightning resistance, although you can cancel that out on the board, but that is not something I'm thrilled about. But let's take a look at the actual Esper board, because that's the important part. So this is a pretty sweet Esper board, I have to say. You get increased magic, you get increased magic attack, you get fire killer, you get lightning resistance. Again, that's canceling out what the Esper's already giving you. You get your standard accuracy, your standard evasion, and then you get some pierce resistance and the man killer. That's huge. That's absolutely massive. Man killer is really, really big. So you get, let's see here, that's 4, 7, 10, 15%. That's real good. And then you also get a bunch of pierce resistance too. So this can be spec'd so many different ways. This is a high utility Esper board, and I really, really enjoy it. I love the Man-Eater. That alone makes it super intriguing. If you don't have Odin and you pull this will be great. If you do have Odin and you pull this, it's still good. So I'm definitely into it. All right, so now we've got Keepers of the Crystal, which is the UR card for the collaboration, and you have to pull for this card, so good luck. And I don't know if you want to or not. So it's again a magic statted card, and you can see right at the far right of the image, I missed my cropping, and I'm just, I'm furious with myself. This isn't so embarrassing. But the unit effect is increased defense and decreased evasion rate. And then the party effect is increased fire attack. And we've got some cool fire units. We've got Delita, we've got Rain, and there's probably some other ones too in the game. So it's definitely an interesting effect, and it's got the good UR stats, so that's pretty cool. But we do have other ways to increase fire attack. We've got Ifrit, which is a personal effect, which does make it a little more specific on who has to equip the Ifrit. Ifrit is a power or attack boosting card, whereas this Keepers of the Crystal is a magic boosting card. So depending on your composition, Ifrit's not as opportune for increasing your fire attack, and also it has the increased attack on it, which means that you're probably not going to have, that's not going to help out a mage, so maybe they don't really clash that much at all. So especially if you have a tank with Vow of Love, for me that would be Delita, and then the Keeper of the Crystal would work out really well as well. So this is kind of looking like a card that I could use. We also have the Lamia Queen, who has Ice Killer, which is always awesome. So Ice Killer on Agrius, Ice Killer on Gilgamesh, Super Overkill, the Medinas, whatever you want, you've got it. And then it has 15 fire attack for the party. So it's actually the same effect, except weaker. So this first card, Keepers of the Crystal, you're going to get 35 fire attack, which is pretty sweet. And then this is just going to be 20 on the Lamia Queen. So I started making the slides, and I'm like, I don't like this card. And then now I've just kind of talked myself into it. I like it because it's going to boost my Delita, who is already a pretty aggressive tank, and give some defense maybe to my Ayaka, and then give her a bunch of magic too. So this is actually very cool. But it's a collab card, so I don't know. It's probably not going to happen, right? But there is one other card I'll make a comparison to, which is the Path to Revenge, which also gets 10 defense on the bestowed effect. And this card does see play. I do see it in arena comps. It's got slash attack, which is obviously very relevant. So, I mean, if this card is good, then I think that the other card is good too. So it's an okay card. The collab part of it really kills it for me. If it wasn't a collab, I would want it big time. Okay, finally, oh yeah, and finally I did want to show it at 2 stars, your classic. This is what you're going to get. If you pull it, you can buy the shards in the shop. and you're going to get 24 fire attack, which is really good. And you get 5 defense. It's not ideal to just to get the 5, but if it's on something like Ayaka, then I mean, you're really hoping Ayaka's not going to get hit anyways. So this is good. Like, this is a really good 2-star stat line for getting 24 fire attack. Okay, so I've come around on this card. The verdict I put on this slide might not even be accurate anymore. We'll see. All right, so finally we have Surging for Mirror, which is the magic liquid that you need in Crystal Chronicles to protect your village from the miasma and the monsters and stuff. So it's important lore here. This is very important. So this is going to be a balanced card with a little bit of attack there in the stats. It's going to have increased the acquired JP, and then it's going to have increased attack. So this is not a competitive card. This is a farming card, and it's totally nice that they give it to you for free because increased JP is very, very useful. This is good. This is a really good card. They're going to give it to you for free. I'm so low on Visior that I'm probably not going to buy the shards, but they will give us some, so I think you can get this to 1-star. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. I wouldn't pull for shards, obviously, and I would really look at your budget before you buy any shards, but it's a good card, and you can definitely use this for farming. The increased attack is going to help your farming, so that's good. All right, so I'm going to compare it one more time here to the Job Crystal, which is the purchased card, which I highly recommend. If you have this, you can get up to 50% more JP, and it stacks. So if you have a friend with this card, you can have it on as your companion and get double AP or JP, and that works on the JP quest. So it's pretty insane. This is definitely worth it, even if you haven't spent any money. It's like $10, just get it. And I originally thought you shouldn't get it, but I've come around on it. Okay, final verdict. We'll talk about each of these cards one more time. So Solidus with the goofy Schitzelt, that's a no for me. I don't think that the majority of players will need it, but I think that it's certainly a nice card to add to a Whales collection, or someone that has a very magic-oriented team. The Mindflayer, it's a maybe. Pulling for an MR Esper is tricky because you're gonna get it eventually. If you're new, like, this could just be a good banner in general because Solidus would help you, and then Mindflayer would obviously help you as well if you're new. I'm kind of inclined to say let Mindflayer come to you. And then for the Seekers of the Crystal, or whatever it's called, I originally thought no. I don't necessarily think you should pull for it. Or maybe just do a couple speculative pulls. If you have fire units, then it's actually pretty good. I like it at 2 stars. And then there's the Seeking Mirror, or whatever it's called. And again, I put it maybe because you're gonna get it for free, but I think that it's a real maybe on whether or not you level it. I think everyone should just level the base card, because any little tiny amount of JP in a farming mission where you're already way more powerful than you need to be, you don't need your other cards on your units. So everyone should just use this in their regular farming party for sure, but to actually go all the extra mile to get more JP, that's going to be for sure player to player. It's definitely worth it to buy up to the 2-star shards if you are free to play, and I say that because that means you're just absolutely not going to buy the Job Crystal. And then as a free-to-play player, it is so nice to be able to get some extra JP for your new units so you can get them all shiny and you know, crushing skulls as soon as possible. So I will recommend that to a free-to-play player. And you know what, that's going to be it. So I'm sure that some of you have your own opinions on these cards, or you want to just agree with me and kind of pump my tires. So go ahead and do that in the comments below. And then otherwise, I'm going to see you next video.